Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Realm of the Lost Gods. Unfortunately, we have not fully ironed out our technical issues, possibly because we're using an iron instead of technical support. So you're going to see some interesting editing choices, as well as nearing the very end of this particular episode, a slightly different way of how we record some of our information. So, without any further ado, please enjoy this episode of Realm of the Lost Gods. Hey everyone.
Hello.
We're still trying out this setup, so hopefully everything comes through on your end pretty well. I believe we have most of our tech issues sorted this time around. Hopefully. But that is neither here nor there for the overall. The main thing that you're here for is for the fact that this is another session of Realm of the Lost Gods. Are we wanting to do a recap or hop right in on the tail end of...
Oh, yes, that's me. I believe that's me. All right. Good morning, everybody, or good evening. Welcome to another session of Realm of the Lost Gods. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to pull away all those bad vibes. And then I'm going to go ahead and tell you about what our party has been up to. Last we left off, our party. Can you all hear me?
You're not really spiking high on the volume range.
Yes, I do hear you. Okay, but I'm still... It's down. It looks quiet probably on the levels, but I'm coming through. Last we left off, our party had come back together, been given a big grand mission, and are now on the hunt for 4 other party members to try and kill them so they don't become demigods or saints or whatever. They made their way back to Mandan and got passage on a ship. And while they were on the ship, they were attacked by the Jasper, the same ship that attacked the town of Mandan. But that wasn't a problem. Not the Jasper. They were riding on the Jasper. The ship was the Night Watch. The Night Watch, thank you. But they made quick work of the crew of the Night Watch. Well, about 30 seconds worth work of it. 18 to 20, really. And they just captured the captain of the Night Watch when somebody's magic went wild and killed someone again. Killed. Back to you.
I don't know if I should be uncomfortable or not.
I made a discovery
rarely-
with my mic about something I could do with it, and I decided to just go with it.
I've rarely felt more relaxed. That was yeah. Our ASMR venture is going great, I think.
But yes, the inexorable of fate had called out that fate intervenes upon you before hitting the captain of the Night Watch with a spell-ish attack.
Is he dead?
Is he dead yet?
All that happened very quickly.
Yeah. As the beam hits the captain, the light starts to look as if it's fading from his eyes. And going off of the statement and requests of previous range. As he starts to drop, Filigree does use Spare of the Dying on him to intervene
Nice.
upon that.
Nice.
Mithluna, is that one of yours?
Maybe. Wasn't supposed to happen.
But when is it ever supposed to happen? Is it friendly or do we need to run?
Inside check isn't friendly.
Yeah, you can roll it.
All right. Good question. Now let's see what my dice like me today or not.
I'm right. Oh, I guess I dropped
Ooh,
cause
nice. $20. 30-20.
You are not getting much of any vibe off of it. It does not seem to really care about you or your
It's
existence.
all thoughts, no vibes. Instead of no thoughts, all vibes. It's all thoughts, no vibes. I got nothing. I think it's just here.
Oh shit! Ship's on
Maybe
fire.
don't walk in front of it.
Yeah. I think because we're out of combat at this point, right? I'm betting.
Yeah, more or less.
All
at
the
this
other
point.
guys were pretty
shortly
much
after it shows up, it does just disappear. And
okay.
Cool.
the captain of the Jasper looks around and is very visibly confused. Consistently glancing over towards Mithluna.
She does that kind of thing. Don't freak out. Ship's on fire. And Scott's going to try to scamper over and start putting out all the fireball damage to try and rescue the
I
ship.
run over and I start casting Create Water.
Yeah. The crew of the Night Watch, the non-combat crew of the Night Watch, are they... A couple of things. Are they helping us put out the fire? And are they going to be... Do I get the sense they might cause us trouble?
After the inexorable shows up and basically says that that fate intervenes and then shoots their boss.
Mm-hmm.
And after you guys have conveniently taken out the rest of the crew, they kind of just step back.
Okay, cool. They're in it for the day job, not to cause us trouble.
Give me an insight.
There we go. Oh, nice. That's going to be a 23.
23. You get the feeling that it's not more of it's a day job. It's more of like, these guys just decimated our bosses really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We thought this was going to be an easy job. And
It was not.
I'm not paid enough to deal with that.
Cool. If anybody is close to Scott, you just hear him under his breath, yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Because he's like, hey, here's an extra ship. He's just thinking, an extra ship, let's take it.
I think at this point, Silver would rush over to Llama and immediately grab onto her and like kind of check her out to make sure she's not injured and see if she needs anything and just be like, I don't know what you did, but your wild magic is really fucking cool. Don't get in your head about this later. Okay. I'm so proud of you for taking a risk.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
We still got the is he alive? She's like pointing at the captain that's getting dragged away.
I don't care. What I care about is to remind you that you are a majestic, wonderful little being, and I am so proud of you.
Aw, well, you're a badass fighter. All of that fighting training, and she kind of smacks your shoulder. All the fighting training's been paying off.
Yeah, I think so. Did you see that move by Fiacre, who like totally lined it up where we could both take a hit?
Yeah, that was
Badasses.
awesome. That was so cool. We're getting so good at this fighting thing.
I know, and you produced a whole ass. And Silver will point at the robot thing. That thing.
I
don't even know what that is.
Are we succeeding with putting out the fire?
I'm currently casting Create Water.
Roll me a charisma check at advantage. Llama.
Oh. Yes, fantastic.
You said charisma check at advantage?
Yes. No, not advantage. With proficiency. So
what is that?
Just
charisma
D20
check
plus charisma plus proficiency modifier.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it's essentially a spell attack.
Oh, proficiency. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I misspoke
plus 4 plus
originally.
3. Ew. 24.
Nice.
24. You are you're being fairly successful. There's still a good bit of damage, but you are being fairly successful at putting this fire out. You are gaining assistance from others. The bare minimum statement is the fire isn't spreading. It isn't getting worse. It is still a good bit of damage.
And based on where the fireballs hit, I'm assuming it's mostly on the deck and not... Well, I think some of it probably hit some of the mast and sails, right?
It did hit one of the masts and lit a sail. That is mostly...
those are the big parts where I'm trying to make sure we stop those.
Oh, yeah. The roll was you kind of know more or less of what you're doing on this kind of thing. So
I definitely started the fire.
Okay. Once I notice everyone's kind of running, I scurry back over and I hop up on the railing and look over at the Jasper to the captain. And I ask, do you want us to keep this ship? I mean, we could tie it along with for now. Or what do you want us to do with it? Yeah, I know you want to talk to the captain right now. Oh, reminds me. He goes and starts tying him while talking to the captain of the Jasper. So what do you want to do?
As you're tying him up, the rest of the very feeble crew of the Night Watch comes up, and as they're coming up, they see the 3 archers that were left over from the initial fireball range have set their crossbows well away from them, and they are arms folded, standing near the mast, but arms folded. We're not reaching for shit. We're not reaching for shit. You can see, not reaching for anything.
Yeah, I will say that I think that as everyone else is kind of dealing with other matters, I think that Fiacre's main focus is on the remaining former combatants and just kind of eyes still glittering just a little bit with like that fucking like horrible brain magic that just made someone's like bleed to death out of their eyes and ears and nose and stuff, and is just like just staring daggers into them like,
You're noticing
"Do
no one's making eye
not."
contact with you. Like at best, they're looking at like your knees and feet to make sure they know where you are. But like they're adamantly like, if we don't look at them like directly, maybe it doesn't affect. Like maybe it's an eye contact thing, like looking into like the sun or some shit. Like it can't hurt you if it can't see you into your eyes. Can't see fear if it can't catch your eyes. Nope.
Fiacre, if you're gonna torment him, at least tie him up first.
We don't have that kind of
Kinky.
relationship yet.
That's fair.
And
That's
the
fair.
captain of the Jasper lets out a like simple laugh. Just a simple
I finished tying up the captain of the night watch, then gingerly set him up. I'm not trying to kill him again.
He looks very unwell.
Yeah. At this point, I'm looking over the captain of the Jasper and just basically saying, "So, what do you want us to do?"
Well, we'll bring it in tow for now.
All right.
He looks to he yells out in Asri over the ship, and Mithluna, you understand the orders that he's giving out of basically calling up people that would normally be on a different shift to come up, and also telling them to come up armed, which they don't really wear armor. You've noticed that no one on the ship really wears armor. They're sailors first and combatants second. But when they are coming up, they're coming up with like rapiers or cutlasses. A few of them come up with axes and crossbows, things of the like.
Yeah, I imagine that wearing armor while just doing tons of manual labor all day would kind of suck.
Yeah. And the idea of just, if you're wearing armor and you go overboard, you're a lost cause.
Yeah.
Like, that is actually something that you have heard, Mithluna, is if someone falls overboard and they're wearing metal armor, treat them as an anchor that has fallen off. You don't go fishing for anchors. You say a small prayer, if that is your prerogative, and watch it sink.
Once I'm sure that like the on deck stuff and the captain of the night watch is tied up and then the crew's handed, I'm gonna go to the night watch's captain's cabin.
It's probably got some neat stuff in there.
That's what I'm thinking.
I
do have one of y'all tell the captain of the Jasper, be like, hey, if you don't want me to ransack this place for evidence, just tell me to back off. But I'm going.
The captain does yell out of that he wants to walk through first.
Okay. So I go to the door. Is the door unlocked at least?
It is.
Okay. Because if not, I was going to unlock it for him.
Yeah.
Silver's gonna go up to the captain of the Jasper. Do you mind if we
he does hop over to the other ship as you all are talking.
Hold up, Cap.
Cap.
I was supposed to ask. if you cause us any issues. I got the distinct pleasure to ask this. What is your favorite flavor of boot polish?
To be clear, is Fiacre within sound range of this?
Yes.
Silver! How rude! Now, how has the captain in any way, shape, or form? That was uncalled for.
I
was just-
gesture for Fiacre, just be quiet, let this play out.
I was told to ask you that.
Completely.
I'm just popcorn.
I want popcorn now.
And why?
Wait,
Out
to
of
be clear,
everything.
Silver, are you saying this to the Jasper's captain?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
This was yes.
okay. Just to be clear.
He does stop dead in his tracks, and like his demeanor shifts visibly, and he just looks just closes his eyes for a long moment before sighing, and for what reason do you think that that is a necessary question for this particular situation?
It just felt right.
So you're questioning, if I have this correct, the thought of me being the one that goes through another captain's cabin, a captain that attacked my ship, and that you needed to, correct me if I'm wrong, put me in my place in front of my crew for that.
And Silver looks
Yeah.
confused.
It was absolutely out of line. We are so terribly sorry. I am sorry on behalf of Silver.
Listen,
God
I was
finally
out of
realizes what was. Oh.
listen.
God, you just understand. Skad.
No, I know. I knew what the question was. I didn't realize that Silver didn't know what the question was.
Yeah,
I thought she was asking it intentionally.
no. I
Sil-
was just told if I ever need anything that's what I should ask.
Silver,
and-
stand down, please.
Oh.
And on top of
Yeah,
that,
no. We're
Now
gonna
is
make
not
it.
the time
We're
to
gonna make a
explain.
tactical
Captain?
retreat. Silver, just Luna, get her.
Please,
Get her.
please. We
Cap-
can apologize later.
Oh,
Silver.
Captain, I'm just Mithluna puts a hand on Silver's shoulder and looks at the captain and says, "We're just going to call this an extension from the battle. Every berserker takes a
She
little
just got
while to
hit
cool
on the
down
head.
Oh
after
no,
a
no.
battle."
I really don't think now's the time for explanation. If we can really just get Silver to just a cool down room.
I'm also not a berserker yet. I feel perfectly fine. I just thought, I should use
Silver,
this time.
Silver.
Silver. She's,
If you've ever
she's
trusted
squeezing your
me,
shoulder a little bit.
walk away, please.
Now is not the time.
Okay.
We'll talk over this later.
Okay.
Thank you, Captain. You are so very gracious for your understanding. I am so sorry. We will discuss this later.
And he just raises an eyebrow and looks at Fiacre for a moment, gets a smirk on his face, and then proceeds to step over onto the ship. And he gets within, like, he starts passing Silver and is like within whispering range, and whispers specifically to Silver, If you have a question of my handling of a situation like this, please be more tactful. But if there's a different issue that we currently have, please let me know.
She'll whisper back. Honestly, your partner told me to ask you that, and I just thought it was a funny line, and I just wanted to make sure that we had a good rapport, and I just thought it was a silly little thing, and I'm feeling really hyped after the battle, and so it wasn't meant to be disrespectful. I don't know what it means, but when someone tells me to repeat something to their partner, I am definitely going to play along because it's a funny little thing.
God
I
is
meant
looking
no
for
ill
deepest,
intent.
darkest shadow to wither away in.
For the record, Fiacre is seething.
I'm whispering too quiet for you guys to
No,
hear.
I know.
so
I'm just saying,
as is.
but I'm looming on the Jasper on the poop deck, just seething.
And Silver will in front of her to hide it from the rest of the people, and try and shake your hand and just say, chalk it up to a misunderstanding. I won't do that to you again.
He looks to your hand and then back to you. We'll see.
I
how
am
the
sorry.
night- Well, I understand. We'll see how the night rolls through.
Sounds good. I would never tell you how to do your job. Your job is scary. I mean, there's a lot of water.
He just straightens up a little bit more, heads over to the door of the captain's quarters of the night watch. And after Scott had made sure that it was unlocked, he opens it up.
I step aside, let him in.
Reaches into his into the sash around his waist, pulls out a 2 copper coins that are look to have been minted somewhere else, such as Mithluna recognizes it. They were minted in Asri, on in one of the cities. He sets one right at the entrance to the door, takes the other copper piece, taps it onto the first coin, stands up, and hurls the other coin through the room.
Ooh, fancy.
I was about to walk into the room right behind him.
Yeah, Mithluna, you've never seen a captain do this before.
Inside check?
You
Or
can.
Arcana check?
It's not an Arcana.
Not
Wait.
Arcana, alright.
Scott's worked around ships for a short while. Can I make like a history check? Is this like a
Yeah, you can do a
tradition or
history
something?
check.
Yeah. 18.
Alright,
I'll
hold
wait
on.
for the insight.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. The insight is he looks to be doing a ritual of some kind. You're not quite sure what it is. Skad, you've seen this happen once before.
Mhm.
And that was during a sale between 2 ship captains,
Uh-huh.
between someone from the Esri and someone who is not.
Were they having
It's
a row?
essentially
Sorry.
the what you have gleamed from it is this is basically a way of like cleansing a captain's quarters.
Mm.
This one coin at the entrance, paying respects of this ship was, no matter how it was handled, the ship has a payment placed here. And the other one is, this is me taking claim with something of mine.
So he had to step in first because he had to claim the captain's quarters,
Yeah.
effectively claiming the whole ship.
Right.
Cool.
And because the other captain is of question, if it's his ship, he has the opportunity to do with it whatever he wants.
Mm.
So,
all right. Scott makes a quick note that it happened, remembering it from before, just so there's a written record of the transfer of ownership, as it were.
Yeah.
To just be applied to paperwork later.
Additionally, something that is not mentioned much within my setting range, but I have stolen this base thought. Specifically bards certify law. It's not a class feature, it's not a mechanical thing. The bards are the ones that tell the people what's happened. Without the bards, no one knows what the king says, what the lords say, the news and information and whatnot. Bards certify law.
Okay.
So,
which, if I'm not mistaken, that was kind of what you were saying. I was almost implying a little bit by my made-up title.
yeah.
Okay, right. Okay.
And
just to clarify my own lies, right?
So bards are
And-
lawyers.
well,
Yeah.
not lawyers.
They're lore keepers.
They're bards
Drellin
are
is a lawyer.
historians and the news. Like, lawyers be damned. If people don't know what's going on, if you don't get the correspondence of what's happening, did it happen? If everyone is saying the same thing of this particular thing is happening, did it actually go through? There's a expectation of being truthful and honest, but
Yeah. Scott will add a note. Make sure Fiacre sees this.
because as a bard, if anyone questions it, look at this one. They know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
An individual as the source of canonical information in an area.
Yeah, and bards, sorcerers, and wizards are among the top ones to know how to write.
Yep.
So, as a additional just random tech note, Skad, your audio is coming through a little scratchy occasionally.
Really?
True. Yeah, it is.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm noticing
Maybe
some
just
tech
check all the
scratch recently.
wirings.
And how about now?
Not hearing it right now.
Doing better.
There we go. Okay. Hopefully it was just the contact and it wasn't the audio routing, which I can get around if that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it picked back up.
Can I do something?
For those of you who
I can tell you saw that.
are not watching this live.
Okay.
Sound
How about now? Do I sound a little better?
a lot better.
Okay. I just bypassed wavelength and I'm just going straight in. We're doing it
Oh my.
Which means
Yeah, after he does the ritual,
Mhm.
he takes a breath, picks up the other coin, the coin that's on the ground, and steps in.
Mhm.
And as he steps in, he's looking around, making sure to, take in what he can.
I step up to the threshold and I'm going to check the room as well.
You don't see any traps.
Okay.
Nothing of, like, from the looks of it, this guy had been preparing to continue this kind of stuff for a minute. Why would I booby trap my bedroom/office?
Yeah, you never know. Some people are paranoid.
So, gotta love my own memory. I keep skipping on the Captain of the Jasper's name, and I'm having a hard time finding it in all of my notes.
Lasantis.
Lasantis.
I'm ready for Realm of the Lost Gods trivia.
More so than me.
I'm not.
When is trivia night? Trivia night when?
Possibly first Sunday when I bring my stuff and I fill up more of my obsidian, just like in front of you.
Ooh.
Who's this person? Anyways, Lasantis gets into the captain's quarters, looks around for a moment, gets to the main, gets to his the seat at the other end of a decent desk that's in there.
Mhm.
Starts going through some paperwork. Let's bring in the captain and let's bring in the former captain.
Ooh.
And have a conversation. Please also call over Fiacre. They might be useful here.
Can I just have a very brief question? When the whole thing happened with Silver and Lasantis, did any of the people into whom I'm staring daggers even so much as smirk?
Roll me a perception check at advantage.
For sure.
There's
And then
several
when
of them, so the chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And when this resolves, I will have come out. I'm already dragging the unconscious captain, former captain, back in, and I'll be calling out to Fiacre whenever this resolves.
Nice. That is a 2 and a 17, which is much better than 2. And then plus it's 2, so 19.
1 second. I am dealing with a minor thing. My internet is
Oh no.
lagging hard for a second. I don't know why. Also, for some weird reason, that didn't capture any of that audio.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
That's not
no. No.
Checking my numbers. Looks like they're getting better. Okay. So, your total was 17 plus
2.
what? So 19 total?
Yep.
You notice one of them, like, turn away quickly, and, like, smirks into somewhere, like, smirking away from the rest of everyone else.
Then I just, as like not intending to cause any kind of retcon or anything, just as a note, like I definitely think that Fiacre would have like thaumaturgied their eyes to kind of like flare dangerously, like, because I can make my eyes do whatever I want, and can I have that like spooky, like preparing a spell, like mist rising from the eyes a little bit, like, and just not move looking at that person until they eventually like notice. But nothing more than that. I just wanted to yeah. But I believe you were calling me over, right?
Yeah, you just see me dragging the unconscious former captain back into the captain's cabin. I'm like, hey, Fiacre, Captain wants to see us. Well, Captain wants to talk to this one and thought you'd be useful to also be present because of paperwork.
Oh,
Just dragging
absolutely.
this tiny little goblin dragging this dark elf across the deck.
I think that Fiacre is going to walk down the steps because again they were like sort of standing above.
I think you
and
were on the aft castle too. If that's what
they were, yes.
Yeah.
And so they're going to walk down the steps, and as they're going to pace sort of threateningly close to the captives, and just let them know, I don't think so, because I suppose you're all probably just bright young lads who know better, but if you cause any trouble while I'm gone, I think you know what will happen to you. And then they'll take off towards the cabin.
Scaring the Archer boys.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
Excellent.
it's so delightful.
Yeah, I get that. Here you go, Captain. And I just lump the former captain up on like his bed or something. Just start.
Thank you. Now, walks over to the former captain. I don't know why. I think I can. There, I think that actually maybe fixed all my things. Unless...
Well, good.
Da, 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 da. All right. No, that's not. There, maybe that worked. Trying to get my game to go a little bit better. That way I have the gain threshold and release and blah, blah, blah. Much better. Much better. And then that's not being taken up by my noise gate. All right. Tech issues. We'll get there. It's not like it's saying that we're dropping like 32% of our frames.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Anyways, I think that looks better. I'll mess with more of that later. Because later is not now.
Yay.
So,
And we have a scene where you question yourself to watch.
drop my gain just a tiny bit. Okay. Is that better, Bear? I know there's the delays and all that, but I am trying to get my...
Much better.
Yeah, Okay. Yeah, my audio was being a bit weird and wasn't picking up some of it. In post, I'm going to have to probably use a unhealthy chunk of the recording for this. That's fine.
Ah, whale.
Anyway, the captain walks over and pulls a small flask, not flask, a small glass vial from a pocket. Opens it up, puts a thumb over the opening, shakes it, looks to the rest of you. You might want to cover your face for a moment.
Scott
And-
pulls up his hood. Just
Lifts his thumb and splashes the captain's, the former captain's face with the small amount of liquid. And the man instantly wakes up. Just a...
and daggers are instantly in my hand, even though he's tied up.
I've really got to try some of that.
No, I don't think you do. Puts the stopper back, wipes the remainder onto the man's jacket. Now, before I go through any of your paperwork, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. And after those 2 questions, I will start going through your paperwork, and these others will determine what happens afterwards. Question 1. He points to the small divot in the far wall of the room. Is that a coin mark you see on your wall? Yes. Very good. Very good. Second, and this is the most important one. Who paid you? Pulls out that copper piece and sets it on his leg before I did to come after a ship like mine.
Thaumaturgy eyes is fucking glowing.
I'm just a privateer. Taking advantage of the open lake and the storm. A real shame, that. Real shame. Takes the coin and puts it into a pocket on the coat. Turns around, looks to the rest of you as he claps his hands together. I'm going to go through his logs. Ask him what you wish. Deal with him as you want.
Oh,
I've already paid for his contact,
of course.
and I've also already bought the ship as the price was finished.
Mithluna steps up to the captain.
I don't know if are we there
Puts
because
her.
I don't.
Captain.
Because
We're not
I
there.
only called Fiacre in with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not
Oh.
there. It's just Fiacre, the captain, and Skad.
Yeah, the two of you are at very least
Drat.
on that. Should be at least.
Because that was my
on-
former captain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at one point.
For about 3 months.
Yeah, about 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Captain LeSantis gets to going through the logs and is leaving it to the two of you and opening it to however you want to do interrogation.
As the captain goes over to look through the logs, Scott will be like, can I also look at those when you're done? After we're done with this?
Sure. Barring anything that I think is
Confidential in
too
nature?
pressing.
Of course. I like getting a full picture of things myself. Cool. So hi.
Yes.
And I just pull down my mask that I had up, and I just give my big toothy grin. The dagger's just kind of resting in my hands as I'm just kind of sitting there. I picked a higher stool, and I'm just perched at his eye level. So,
Scott, would you care for me to assist with the?
oh yeah,
sort
you'll
of-
be doing most of the talking. I'm
Yes,
just here
fantastic.
to kind of just set the scene. You just got your ass handed to yourself by us, which, by the way, turnabout's fair play, because you did nearly hand your asses to us a while back. So kind of had it coming. You attacked my home. You hurt some people who've become my friends. You hurt me. So, my associate now, we're going to ask you a few questions. We're going to want you to answer truthfully or, I don't know. Do you think he's a good swimmer?
I think that there are few who are good swimmers when their brain is melting. I think that generally makes it quite hard to swim.
Yeah, true.
But
cool. So we'll start with something simple, then I'll let the actual talker ask the questions. What's your name?
Varkas.
good name. Write this down, Relen.
Varcus.
Fantastic.
Varkas. Got it. Excellent. And why did you attack Mandan?
Contract.
Damn, I thought so. Sune Emporium?
Don't know.
Wow, you're shit at your job if you don't know who you're working for. Take it away. And I just scoot back, just kind of, actually, no, I'm going to skitter around, just be up on the, just out of his reach, so I can react if he tries to lunge for me. But I'll just be up on the cot, just with my daggers right there, just looking at him as Fiacre's asking the questions.
I think that before Fiacre steps forward, they're going to cast message at Skad. And merely whisper, and of course only Skad can hear, that if you think of any particular questions you would like asked in a, perhaps, with all due respect, more persuasive tone, please respond to this message in that way. And then Fiacre is going to step forward.
I will, well, because I have to respond right away.
Okay.
You have to open up. So I'll respond. Yeah, I'll just tap my daggers, or I'll just wave one of my daggers so you can open up a message and I can ask a
Yep.
question.
Yep. So I think Fiacre is going to say to Skad, I think that I think that I understand why you have been so forceful with the captain here, with Vakis, especially in light of recent events. But on the other hand, and they're going to turn to Vargas and sort of step forward and kneel in front of him in a quite friendly way and say, I actually think that we got off on the wrong foot, if I'm being honest. Now, when we first met, and as they talk, they're going to cast Charm Person.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I
I absolutely love this. We're doing good cop, bad cop. We just walked into a good cop, bad cop, and I am so happy.
Exactly.
I wish I had a feature to give disadvantage.
There we go. Because I'm actually using a particular stat block.
Ooh, interesting.
I ain't buying the stuff. I've already got the things I need.
Yeah, as the spell goes off, Fiacre is this, sort of verbal component is going to be Fiacre, sort of saying, I think that we got off on the wrong foot. Now, when we first met in Mandan, it was under compromised circumstances, and I perfectly understand why when I attempted to contact you there, you were in the middle of a job, and you had no reason to respond to me then. On the other hand, here is a controlled environment. Now, granted, things have happened between us, but I think that now is the time to reopen this dialogue and start thinking of each other as partners, people working in a friendly way towards a common goal, don't you? I believe we were in the middle of good cop, bad cop, and I had just cast Charm.
Yes.
Yes. You had just cast Charm Person.
Being oh so charming.
Oh, well, thank you, darling.
Oh, of course, darling.
All right. And what is your spell save?
16. And that is, I believe, Wisdom. Yes.
Wisdom. Yes. All right. I'm going to hit one of them dash.
Come on. Big money, no whammies.
Actually, we want small money, small rolls, so they fail.
Okay, well, right.
Small money, all whammies.
For them, small money, all whammies. For me, big money, no whammies.
Fair enough.
He just sits for a moment and relaxes his posture a little bit.
Do I have any indication other than that like can I insight to see if like it actually worked, or
I think because it's concentration, right?
Is it a concentration?
I
No, it's just duration.
know that it is actually. Yeah.
It is just duration 1 hour. It does not require concentration.
Can I Arcana or fucking thing insight the guy to see if I know?
Yeah, you'd be able to
kick ass. Well, okay. Which one? This is important. Which one is it? Can I Arcana or
which one are you doing?
Arcana for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, the answer is Arcana.
You know how your magic works.
Cool.
You just You've used this spell before
Yeah,
within your life. It's a first
Yeah.
level spell. I assume that you've used this before.
for real, for real, for real.
You're pretty sure it didn't take gold.
Yeah.
I would like to, because I would probably recognize a charm, the magic at least. I would like to insight to see if I would notice.
Go right ahead and roll.
That's a natural one.
Well. Okay.
So I can't tell if it took. I guess we'll just start with the basics. So you've been. Oh, I say you've been
Yes,
taking.
above the
He's been taking various jobs. Have any of does
I can go ahead and start with this.
If you've got a few, please. I've got.
I think Fiacre is pretty sure that it didn't work, but I think they're going to sort of put a lure in the water anyway and see if just to kind of verify, doubling down on a question that's already been asked, right?
Yes.
And saying, so look, since we're getting a little more friendly here, you and your crew attacked a major port city. You told my friend here, who was a little overzealous and perhaps a little forceful, that you didn't know exactly who hired you. You accepted a contract to attack a port city with a large militia and high establishment in the region, of great import to the region, without having any idea who hired you. Let's level with each other here. Let's be friendly. That isn't true. I know it isn't true. I am a mercenary myself. I think that we have a lot in common, really. And you would not attack a port city, not a town, a city, unless you had very good reason to know what was going on. What were the exact details of that contract? I want to help you here.
Well, to be perfectly honest, the job that I was hired for was simple drop off and make some noise, both for my escape as well as in general.
Yes, it seemed to be triggered by that symbol that I handed one of your one under your command. I ended up accidentally having been a part of the system which gave you your signal. It came from the marketplace, which I thought was interesting. It came from inside the city. Were you told to expect a message from within the city?
Whenever you do a job, you always get a message for how it's going to be completed. Where it's from doesn't matter. All that matters is that it rolls through.
It was the symbol of the Sune Emporium. You don't know.
I don't know what that is.
Who hired you and how?
Usual channels. One of my associates sent a list of tasks that needed to be done, and gave the usual front payment, and on the back end, we got a bit more coin for completing it.
That makes sense. It makes sense as to why you were not interested in discussing proceedings at the time, that it was not intended to be a full raid. That does make sense to me now. You say you have a usual person who handles these. Could you generally describe this? I am not a sailor. I've considered the life from time to time, but it's never quite been the right time, you might say.
You like your outfits too clean.
He's fully right. I can be a bit particular. I also just happen to have some business on that. But regardless, what are these channels like? Can you describe to me how you got this? Because let me be clear, you have been forced to surrender. The idea of letting you go alive is not going to be appealing to everyone involved in this situation. I am not what you would call the bloodthirsty type. I like to leave friends in my wake rather than dead bodies. And I would like to be your advocate in this situation, that you should get to walk away, even if you can never go back, even if you can perhaps not resume your life as it has been. I would like to be your advocate, that you get to walk away from this. Maybe we give you a rowboat and drop you off near a shore or something. But I would like to be your advocate, but I can't unless I can call you an ally. And what I'm asking for you now is, I know a lot, but how can I find who gave this order? You may not know who gave the order, who wrote the request, but how can I find them? This is so important.
Jobs like this work all the same.
Yes.
You dock, you head in for a night at the tavern, you come back out, first payments left on the ship with a note of proceeding bearing all of that. And then do the job, go to the port that they say to get your end payment with whatever proof they need.
So you're just a dumb tool?
Hold on. Please.
Sorry.
There's no need to insult our new friend here.
That just kind of came out.
I understand. I think what my passionate goblin friend is trying to say is that when you say you got this job through regular means, through regular channels, are you saying that you know nothing about the person who drops these orders off?
No.
You don't know who they work for? Then how can someone how can you have assurance that this is a legitimate job?
If it's not a legitimate job, then we just go back, and make sure wherever it was that we were sent from learns to not do that anymore.
So you're saying this is just that is part of the risk of your lifestyle.
You've heard the saying, honor among thieves.
Yes. Yes, as someone who has had my fair share of illicit dealings myself, of which I shall not speak in front of my and Fiacre at this point winks at Skad. I shall not.
Just
I shall not.
genially rolls his eyes.
I shall not speak too much in front of my I suppose police officer friend.
I retired.
Well, as it were. I do understand that, and I appreciate your candidness with which you have spoken to us. I think that you are being honest, and in that regard, I will ask you at which port you got these orders, since it is at a port.
I actually had that note up a second ago.
Fuck yeah!
I'm hearing a like tech-ish background.
It's not me.
Oh, it might be Jesse. Hold on.
I am too.
I'm muted.
I'm not hearing anything. Oh my god.
I'm not hearing it anymore.
Gone now.
It was Jesse rubbing all over the stairs above me. So I'll just mute while she does that.
Everyone say hi to Jessie.
She is the goodest pupper, but I am underneath stairs, so
It happens.
Fair enough.
It was a it was the port off of Vasrod.
Noted.
Over on the west coast.
Noted.
Guild, can you spell that city name for me, or Vasrod?
Absolutely. Vasron.
Okay, thank you.
I was just making note of that for myself as well above the table. Grellin is of course writing the notes, not Fiacre, but
Yeah.
Also bad cop.
Such bad at cop, lost his job.
Actually, he was such a bad cop, he got hired by someone else to fight against him.
Such a bad cop, he's working with the criminals now.
And apparently feeling better about it. Anyways,
Right?
Scott does suggest asking if he has any connection to the baronies. Just, check that off a list.
Mm-hmm. And Fiacre does so. They'll say, I'll probably have just a couple more questions. And again, I'm incredibly grateful, and your operation will not be forgotten by me. Do you have any connection, personal or professional or otherwise, with any of the baronies? Really, any of them would be interesting.
Baronies. That was ages ago.
Okay. Any in particular?
The way that he says it is one of those factors, like, it would be like asking, so, are you connected with, like, to a modern person? So, what is your connection to the Emperor of Rome? Like
that was my next question.
Like when he says ages ago, not that wasn't a.
It was they existed.
Yes. Okay, I
ages
understand.
ago,
Yes,
not that
not he did ages ago. Yes. Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Of course.
Is Scott just getting a read? This guy just does his job and doesn't even fucking care. Like he doesn't pay attention to anything off the ship.
Give me a insight check.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
In the meantime, Fiacre is going to say, I apologize. I'm sure that was quite a weird question, but
yeah, 25.
25. You get the feeling that he does his best to not ask questions for probably situations like this of.
So he makes himself intentionally stupid.
Plausible deniability.
Purposefully dumb. I think when Skad clocks this, he just mentions that. He just gets a message going with Fiacre and is like, this guy makes it a point to not know shit. God, this is going to be annoying. Hey, let's, do you want to bring in the others? See if they can emotionally torture him. Maybe he can give something up. Oh.
Oh no, Sid.
I think so. Did Sylvane freeze? Oh,
no. I passed it along.
They'll be back in a moment.
Oh, that is.
There they are.
Did you crash like I do?
No, something happened with my internet connection. Honestly, it's kind of no wonder I'm having some wild storms.
Mm-hmm.
But I apologize for that.
It happens.
Yeah, I did hear the whole thing about intentionally stupid.
Okay, and then after that, Scott passes that along and is like, "Hey, do you want to bring in the others so we can emotionally torture him? Maybe he can still give something up."
Just one more moment, yes.
Oh, of course. Yeah, finish up what you got.
And
then Scott, I think at this point just slides back up against the wall, just chills out, leans back, because he ain't got anything else.
Yeah, the whole like, look hard, boys, look hard. Oh wow, it's not doing well on the internet front there. It's still having some issues. But as long as you can hear me, that's all that matters.
Can hear and see.
Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that. So I think Fiacre is going to say yes. Well, I'm sure that was quite a weird question. I apologize. We're trying to solve a bit of a mystery. Let me just say that. And a couple of times, want to make sure that it was just so wacky. You couldn't.
You are breaking up.
Oh, well, that's unhelpful.
Tis.
To do about that.
Yeah, you keep going in and out.
Yes. It's a lovely day for technology.
Yeah, even I had tech issues. That's weird.
It just seems like this type of year.
I don't have tech issues, and it's very strange for me.
Don't. Oh, you had to put that out into the universe.
Not only that, I think that you might have passed yours on to us.
Yeah, no, the spirits.
Right, yep.
No, the evil spirits of tech are gonna come for you now.
And you said that I
your
don't
voice
have
down the fiber.
That's fine.
And
they
you said
already
that you
came
don't.
for my dice luck. We're fine.
These
You
are
already,
different.
and you have mentioned to me in the past, like, oh, curses aren't a thing. Yeah, I've got gremlins that have followed me from computer to computer.
And yet, my natural charisma keeps them away for the most part.
It's very unfortunate.
My eye twitched. Just kidding, Matt. Sorry.
My
I can hear you a
natural
little better
IT
now.
charisma, the force of will I have.
Yeah. I'm just staying this way for just a minute, hopefully.
Okay.
I'm not gonna press my luck. But in any case, I do think that Fiacre is going to essentially, just say, well, there has been a legacy of the baronies. We're trying to solve a mystery here, and it is very strange that we dealt with you in Mandan on contract, and then you, not on contract, just so happened to attack our ship. I'm sure you understand why that is strange. That is a very unlikely, out of any ship you could have possibly attacked, so you claim, on your own. It just so happens to be the one we were on. I hope you can understand why we would be a little bit on edge. Yes?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I can see where that conspiratorial mind would go, yes.
I don't know that you fully grasp. And as Fiacre does this, they're going to whisper to Mithluna and say, time to come talk to your former boss. And I think Fiacre is going to finish by saying, I think there's a little bit more at play here than mere paranoia. And I hope that my colleague can clear up a little bit part of the reason, that not only the reason that we were all present, my party and I, save one, when you attacked Mandan, but specifically, and assuming that Mithluna comes in soon, they're going to kind of gesture to the door and say, specifically, as one of my colleagues happens to be here today who knows you a bit better than I do.
As this happened, the door slams open. Bethluna's like, "It's about time."
Were you just listening at the door the whole time?
I was watching my robot and chatting with Silver. We're just
Two
waiting.
things. Two things. One, the inexorable is not a robot. And two, it left quite a while ago.
So I was just gossiping with Silver.
Right.
I was telling her all about the random things that have happened to me as I cast my magic. But now, all right, door slams open. Hello, Captain. Fancy meeting you here. Because last I met, your men ordered me dead. Without telling me anything. And she's just standing in the doorway waiting for
Yes,
the
it was
response.
quite the commotion.
He goes visibly pale at seeing you, and
Skad perks up.
Yeah.
just starts chewing on his lower lip.
Yeah, Fiacre's comment about the commotion, they just kind of like winked at the captain like, yeah, just a commotion. Yeah, no big deal.
Captain, I fell out of the sky. You and your ship took me in. And was I not a good sailor? For you and yours. Did I not create water for you and yours? Fresh, perfectly pristine water every day for you and yours. And you said nothing. As you sent me out into Mandan to create the booth with no idea that you were pretending to be another ship's name, that there was an attack coming. Nothing. You set me up. And she kind of walks forward,
Well,
puts a hand behind the chair, and looms over him and says, "I would like to know why."
in my defense,
The daggers are coming out, and I'm sharpening them.
Oh, I would love to hear your defense. Please, carry on.
First, we weren't trying to blame you. We were trying to blame a entirely different range. Second,
I was a convenient scapegoat if the second range or the first range didn't work.
second, less of a convenient scapegoat, more of a you sold the process.
Did I?
Well, you were supposed to. And then you were also, again, in my defense, and he looks around
Please go
at the rest
on.
of and he looks out around at the rest of the people in the cabin.
I'm assuming
and-
Silver's right behind me.
I have no idea.
Is he scared
I pulled
because
you
she
with me.
survived, or is he scared because it's her that survived?
Yes. Yeah.
So Silver's with you?
Yeah, I pulled
Or
you
not.
with.
Okay.
Yeah, I pulled you
Yeah.
with.
I will
his,
say,
his my statement of him looking at everyone on the area around. To be perfectly honest, no matter what I say, it's probably going to end up getting me killed. Am I getting this?
now,
Am
hint
I a
correct?
murderer
No.
too?
no.
Jury's still out
I'm
on that.
I'm a mutineer. I'm a terrible sailor, apparently. Definitely not to be trusted. And I'm a murderer. Do go on, Captain.
If I may, I'd like.
I never said that you
deliberate-
were a terrible sailor. The thing I don't trust about you is the fact that the winds run through you.
Yes.
And
Yes, they do. Which is impressive, considering I grew up in the Aesir where there were no natural winds.
Yeah,
Fiacre's
you'd think
like-
that you would end up with knowing of the secrets, but here we are. Let's just.
Yes, here we are, and you managed to piss off one wild mage.
He looks over to Captain Losantis and clears his throat for a second, stretches his neck, and for the first time, you're hearing him speak in Ezri.
Yeah.
Shit.
Mm.
I need to learn it.
She was supposed to make your name go down so I could pick up your contracts. Looks back to Mithluna, then to the others, and then back to Losantis. Professional courtesy. Don't put me on the front of the ship.
Luckily for you, she looks over at Captain Losantis. It's not my call whether or not you're keel-hauled.
Do you say that in?
Yeah.
hold
What
on.
language?
What language do you use to say that to him?
I need to know this for Scott's sake.
Important.
For the sake of all of my companions, I do say that in common. I don't say it in Asri. But it is very clear that she understands exactly what he's saying in Asri.
Right.
You hear a soft thud as Scott has dropped both the daggers, and like there's a manic look in his eyes.
I will say when Silver walked in, Fiacre did kind of spare an irritated glance at them. But now there is absolutely no attention anywhere else but between the two, between Mithluna and Varkas.
You know, Vargas, Captain, one of the spells that I do have is Featherfall. If Captain Lathander here does decide that you are to be keelhauled, if you cooperate, maybe I could cast Featherfall on you, and the damage might not be lethal.
No. No, there.
Uh,
I will say I am bound to speak on behalf of Varkas in this case, and I know
Are
you
you?
have every reason. I know I have you have every reason to wish this person's death. Varkas cooperated with me, and I made a promise that I would speak on behalf of perhaps taking everything that he owns, and perhaps removing him from any ability to continue. You can do anything to him, but if you threaten his life, I must at least speak against it. I will not raise my hand against you as my traveling companion, but I will say that I will speak for Varkas's life.
Ah, wonderful. Fiacre, and she gestures at Fiacre. Her hand's still on the chair, and she's still looming over him. My companion has vouched to speak for you, nothing more.
Lasantis
she winks.
walks over and holding up a single piece of paper. Weighs it for just a second before passing it to Mithluna.
She takes it and looks at it.
On the front, the only thing that it reads is, make sure a star elf is in the attack. And at the bottom, you don't see a fox face logo. You see what looks to be a pier with a cloud over it.
She passes it back to Thander and kind of gestures to show it to her companions.
He passes it to Silver first. Coach, I'm guessing...
Reads it in... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm going to look at it like I understand, but I don't have any idea what this means. I'm guessing that's what you were going to say.
I was going to initially say, like, I'm guessing that...
I want them to look at the little symbol at the bottom, especially. So even if they can't read the whole thing, they got the symbol. So, I was your backup plan to make sure that one of my people took the fall for you.
And as it's being passed around, do I recognize it?
Same.
Yeah. Like, probably not, but
no.
I got to check, right? Okay, cool, fabulous.
But they've seen, at least now everyone has
Yeah.
seen the symbol.
At least
We know
now
it now.
I've
But
seen the
Guild,
symbol.
what were you gonna say to me though about Silver?
I was gonna say, I'm guessing that you initially look at it and pass it around.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Like how you react to it is up to you, but my guess was once you were handed it, you were going to take in information, pass it, and then I could have gone through every one of.
To the clarification, the language in which the note is written is Asri or Hodonsu.
It is Hordonsu.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So we actually can understand
nice.
the words.
Yeah, you can read it. It's
Great.
written very cleanly. Like whoever wrote it has neat handwriting.
Do I recognize the handwriting?
Nope.
Damn.
Okay. I will actually, like, I think at the end, I think ask can Lysantis in particular, can I keep this?
Yes, it's among the first things that I see as damning information. And he stops, turns
Thank
to the former captain, and says, after he clears his throat, to make sure that he is speaking as clearly as he can
Yes.
in Hordonsu. Because as a note, I haven't been doing it thoroughly myself. He has a fairly thick accent. Think somewhere between a thick Italian accent and Filipino accent.
Oh, damn.
What a wild combination. I love it.
Yes, and while I hear it in my
Wayne would
brain,
be
I
proud
do
of
not
you.
know how to vocalize that
Oh, I get that.
properly.
I get that.
Fair.
And you don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
Also,
on top of all of it, like it's not a Italian accent and it's not a Filipino accent. It is an Esri
Sure.
accent.
Sure.
just to reiterate what I said, I think because you asked about reactions, Silver's definitely acting really confident, like they know what is going on with the sheet of paper. And like totally on the same page, literally no pun intended, as Llama.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so Mitheluna's just staring down at this captain, saying, "So just in case you couldn't pin that attack on the Jasper, a legacy ship, the pride of the city of dreams and the city of memories. I was your second best shot. Why? Why did you need to blame the Asri for your actions?"
I could say that I don't have a motive behind that. That I don't know why they wanted it done. Looking at Captain, I can guess that it's not going to matter what I say here in a second.
Oh, no. We have just discovered that you wanted either me or the captain here, to take the fall for your actions. I say what you
besides,
say
fucked that
now.
job up.
Yeah, and you fucked the job up. So I say what you say now has very dire consequences for your own skin. And she kind of glances over at Lysander. Captain?
Captain,
Looking
The
at
one
the
I
one of
actually
the daggers.
respect.
Captain Lysantis chuckles for a second and picks up and holds up the logbook that he has been flipping through fairly lazily. To be perfectly honest, I am not going to keelhaul this man.
Thank you.
Don't thank me.
Mithluna nods and
Don't thank me, handlebars. It's not what you think.
What did it go? What? What?
Not
did-
now. Not now.
Oh.
Let's focus.
You see, I've already decided what's going to happen with this man.
Delightful.
Can I
I'm
go?
going to be very clear. Going through your notes, seeing your particular track record, and most importantly, seeing your reaction to the ones that were hired to protect those upon my ship. He stands up at full height and walks closer. Keel
Mithluna kind
hauling.
of stands up and lets Lathander loom if he wants to.
Lathantis.
Lathantis, sorry.
Lasantis.
Lysantis, sorry.
I will let you have one final thing before last judgment is placed upon you in front of your crew. Former crew. Anything to say to defend any of your actions? Note, despite having written many of your notes in a couple languages, I am traveled across these lands. Your stars and your seas mean nothing to me. Marcus shrinks down in his seat more and looks back to the rest of them. Looks to the rest of all of you before just taking a deep breath. I guess I'll see if that promise falls through. Do what you must. Santis stretches his shoulders, looks to Silver. Drag this man by his boots, please. He needs to be on the deck for this.
With pleasure. Does he have a specific flavor that he likes?
I'm going to get copper.
Great. And she grabs him by the boot and starts to drag. And every time he tries to wiggle, she gets this little irkling feeling that starts at the tip of her toes and at the bottoms of her feet. And she's trying really hard to hold this sensation down. And you can see her breathing, but her breathing is shaky and she's trying to contain herself, and she lifts a fist to turn around and punch him, but then she stops herself mid-punch and then puts her fist down, and you see her kind of starting to do it again, and then she finally shakes it off of her, and she drags him to the location of where they need to be placed.
Yeah, Scott doesn't need to mention what he thought, but Scott will follow right behind because I have in my notes that Mithluna had told me that the Night Watch was the Night Watch on day one.
Uh-huh.
Which
She
I'm
wasn't
pretty sure
told.
Scott would have put in the note, in whatever report he had provided. So the Jasper was off the hook anyways.
Yeah.
He was so
'Cause they
fucking
never
bad at
told
his
her
job.
anything.
Yeah.
He has you bring the former captain up to in front of the steering wheel.
And if you want me to roll, like, I know we briefly talked about this, if you want me to roll an impulse check to see if I actually punch him, I can.
I'd say with your history of the like duty bound kind of range,
Okay.
you're able to hold it in on this run.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll
And
get there
so-
very soon. I need to
Oh, I
actually
know.
sit
I
down
just-
with
Again, planting those seeds.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to double check with you. So she kind of just drops his foot, not aggressively, but definitely not gently. And again, takes a couple shaky breaths and shakes it off. And she'll look at him and say, "You know what? I don't have any copper on me. My bad. Maybe next time." And then she'll join her party members.
he stands up on the where the ship where the wheel is, brings the Vargas up to like on the railing area and presses him in and looks over the former crew and then to his crew, who is a good number of the Jasper's crew is on the ship now.
Mm-hmm.
He looks to the five of you, because there is a fifth.
Sure.
Filigree is still there.
Here. Just
He looks to the
quietly,
five of you
weirdly enough.
and says softly, "Are you planning on taking this ship?"
As I will say that the whole time Fiacre has just followed entirely and unusually stony silent and face unreadable, with just feeling honor bound to have spoken for this person, but feeling absolutely no authority in this situation. And so feeling kind of that, kind of expressing that, like, I did my duty to speak for this person, and whatever sort of fate is ordained for him by the authorities that actually matter here is what will happen. And I think that Fiacre finally speaks and says, I think that we find ourselves on a grand mission, and any boon you would wish to grant us, we would appreciate. I think that we can think of undoubtedly quite a few, and they'd like kind of glance at kind of either direction, like, guys, right? Quite a few uses for a ship of
Yeah.
our own. On the other hand,
You can't take a ship inland.
I think that if it is your desire to have it, you would make far better use of it, Captain.
As much as I want one, because it would be kind of cool. Our work does take us inland. Maybe I'm torn.
Make a claim it for now and talk more upon the.
I think that would be wisest.
Claim
We take
it
some
for
time to think
now.
on it.
Thank you,
Commission it
Captain.
out to the captain here.
Yeah.
A fantastic boon have you offered us, and I would graciously accept.
He looks to the former crew, and then reaches into one of his pockets, pulls out a set of brass knuckles, and slams his fist onto the railing twice, and the knocking sound echoes across the water. Hear this and hear me. Those of you that wish to have passage to Sundera will receive it. Looks to the side. You have a longboat if you choose to not. But banditry and piracy, and he draws his cutlass, is not seen kind upon these waters. He brings the blade up, puts the guard against the captain's throat, leans down and says, clearly, you're relieved, and draws the blade across his throat before throwing him over the front in a heap in front of everyone. Several of the crew of the Night Watch just start bolting towards the longship. A handful of them staying. Do any of you stop the ones heading towards the longship?
Captain gave him a way out,
He did.
so I ain't going against that. Seems fair.
He's in charge here. Look.
Silver, no.
Hey, I am
I haven't
ready to
even
spell.
said anything, so you have no idea what I
You
was about
have
to
that
say.
look.
You had that look.
I get that, but let me repeat
What-
this out. Don't.
What does Silver do?
So Silver has that innate knee-jerk reaction, and you kind of see her start to move forward, but then she looks over and looks at Llama. And she nods at Llama. And
Mama nods back.
And she mouths, I'm not going to underestimate your strength and your power of what you just did in that room. And
Mama
she'll stop.
definitely gives Silver a look and kind of tilts her head to the side and went, eh? But then lets you continue. That's all she does.
Yeah, and then that's all Silver's going to say, and then she'll say, lastly, you'll know what I mean when you finally see it in yourself. And what I see in you. And she'll put her axes away. And she'll turn towards the rest of you.
Then Skad sidles up to Luna's like, and then he just kind of hops up and whispers, by the way, the Keelhaul threat was really fucking hot. And just
Ah, yes.
You see Mithluna just blush bright red. Her entire, it starts with just her cheeks, but I'm pretty sure her entire face turns red. She just
it's
starts
that anime single line
turning
of
away.
red going up.
And she just like, and just
And
kind of
Scott's
goes a little
already
shy.
walking away, trying to find his way to holds to look to see if they have any treasure or loot or stuff in the ship.
Before we get to that range,
Of course.
The longboat is quickly filled and men are heading off. Sailors from the Jasper pick up the dead body and the other, all of the dead bodies, honestly. Rifle pockets real quick into a barrel.
Yep.
And then throw the corpses over the rails.
The captain, who is now dead, I believe, was thrown overboard. Yes.
Yes, after his pockets were rifled through, and anything loose that was in his pockets was taken out and thrown into a barrel.
Yeah.
Sure.
So they looted
Uh,
all the bodies for us, barreled it.
Yeah, basically say you guys will deal with this at some point, kind of thing.
Because yeah, we've still got a few days before we get there.
I only meant for Fiacre to go to the rail where the captain was thrown overboard, and to kind of look down at where he was thrown overboard, and to just say, let him rest here, beneath the weight of his own choices, far from the honors he craved but never earned. The world will not mourn him, for in life he sought only for himself, and in death he leaves behind nothing but the bitter taste of his dishonor.
As Fiacre does this, Mithluna kind of walks and just stands behind their shoulder, looking down, going, "See, Captain? They did speak for you."
Skad was coming up to make a very inappropriate derogatory comment towards the sinking captain. And he was stopped because of Fiacre's statement. And then Mithluna said that, and he just turns and walks away, and he is blushing.
Captain LeSantis walks up to Mithluna, taps her on the shoulder, and whispers softly, "Will you do me one favor before retiring upon this ship, or the other ship, whichever one you choose?"
She pauses. "Anything, Captain. What do you need?"
There's a large side-cut barrel in my quarters. Could you do me a kind favor and fill it? We don't have enough fresh water for such a thing easily, and I would not want to take away rations for a...
She just nods, even before he finishes speaking, and says, "Consider it done." She turns on her heel and stalks towards, he said it was his cabin?
Mhm.
She stalks towards his cabin, and I believe that is her last first level spell of the day.
Of create
No, she has
water?
one more. Of create water. She's got two more, so she can do one more create water after this. But she does a create water into the barrel.
Which looks essentially like a bathtub. And
Whatever works.
it's a post-combat frivolity kind of thing. And as soon as you step out of the as soon as you step out of his cabin, Fiacre, you feel the hand of Captain LeSantis upon one of your horns as he leans in and says,
A shock.
"Come, Handlebar, let me show you your name." And he starts to lead you towards his cabin. Note, his grip isn't tight.
No, sure. I think Fiacre jumps like 6 inches in the air, and then yes, of course. Yes, of course. Yes. No words. No word. They are not. They're not wordsing at the moment, right?
No words, just vibes and follows.
Because this happened on deck. Skad saw this as well. Skad was gonna go to Fiacre and be like, "Hey, can you be acting captain while we, fit it of this ship?" Sees that as like turns to the rest. Guess we're in charge right now.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Amazing, hilarious,
Cool.
amazing.
Thank you all so much for watching. This has been a delightful evening with all of you. Hopefully, next session, the heating pad will be replaced by our lovely Filigree, as we needed to keep the seat warm, but we're not going to fill it with
Right.
a person. We'll keep it warm using a heating pad.
I could have put my crock pot there.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We'll see you next time. And until then, be well, roll safe, and enjoy the tavern.
Hello, everyone. This is Sylvane Spectre, pronouns they, them, and Fiacre Majus Malo, also pronouns they, them. We both wish to thank you for watching this episode of Realm of the Lost Gods. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notifications whenever we post a new session. You can also catch us live every first and third Tuesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. Central Time over on twitch.tv/BlackBarrelTavern, where myself and my associates in the Chaos Chords will be providing you with premium entertainment. Until next time, be well, roll safe, and enjoy the tavern.